time I went home for the holidays, amenisumbua. Haijafika point we are doing it, but he want to touch you. If I tell him I need a book or I need something, he will tell me nikushike kidogo, then takubaia. And then your own biological dad can do that to you. What about the other guys? What about the other people outside? Unarushwa nje. Your mom can't do anything. Sometimes my mom could try to defend me, and apigwa. My dad was an alcoholic. He's still alive, so I don't want to use words.
Hi. Welcome to the Golden Apple Show. This is your host, Jaquline Njeri. Have you followed us on Facebook and YouTube? You can look at Golden Apple Jaquline Njeri to follow more content and more inspiring stories. I'm having a moment. When our children are born, they come into this environment, they come in this society, and they look to the caregivers and parents for love, for support, for security, for affirmation, for validation. And they have no other source of support apart from this environment that they find themselves in. What happens when we bring our children into environments and we are not able to give them the safety and the validation and the love that they need? What happens when things happen under our noses? In option 1, we choose to pretend. Option 2, we want to act like everything is okay. And we want to sweep things under the carpet because we don't want to destroy the status quo. This is not fair at all. Mtoto akikuja hapo, nini anaangalia? Mkikosa kumpatia security, mkikosa kumpatia love, mkikosa kumuaffirm, atatafuta wapi? A lot of abuse is happening in our homes. A lot. And when abuse happens, it's mostly by people who are very close to us. The uncles, the cousins, the neighbors, the askaris, sometimes even our nannies. But what happens if the abuser is your significant other? What happens if you're not able to stand up for your child and you know very well that they're being sexually violated, that they're being sexually abused? How do you sleep at night, knowing that you're not playing your role as a parent? How do you reconcile with the fact that you are not able to come through for this child who needs you, who is looking up to you, to tell them that it's going to be okay, to tell them that they don't deserve whatever is happening in their lives, to make them feel loved and make them feel whole again? I have a guest today. She will just go straight away to telling us her story. And yes, this is going to be a trigger post. It's going to be a trigger video. It's going to elicit a lot of emotions. But I think it's time we owned up our stories and we told our stories to the world. Because so many people are hiding under shame, under judgment, under reprimanding themselves because they feel like they don't have control of their lives. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Okay, let me just go ahead to my story.
Yes.
So, I'm a firstborn in a family of 4 kids. I have 1 sister and 2 brothers. So, it started off, my biological dad had been harassing me for like 7 years of my life. It started when I was in class 6. You see that for class 6 and you started growing, the adolescent things start happening in your body. And my dad came. I remember one day I was in the kitchen, the first time I was in the kitchen. I was washing the dishes for sink, and then he comes, he touches my boobs and I'm there. Whatever you have is mine. And I was in class 6. So many reproduction. Yeah, it makes sense. I was a kid, I was innocent. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Whatever I have is his because he's my dad and my mom, they came together and brought me to the world. So I was like, it's okay. So it's okay if he does the things. So class 6 went on. He started touching me to a point now in class 7. He's kissing, not like children. There's not peck, like deep kissing, like you're kissing your significant other. Class 8, I started becoming aware of what is happening. Now I get my senses. I'm like, this is not supposed to happen. This is my dad. And now guys start hitting on me. Like, why should guys hit on me? Obviously they do the same thing that my dad is doing to me. These are things people do with their wives, not with their kids. I started now rebelling. I hated myself. Hata kuoga, I didn't want to shower, I didn't want to do anything. I was like, the world doesn't love me. If your own biological dad can do that to you, what about the other guys? What about the other people outside? So I went to Form 1 high school. Every time I went home for the holidays, angenisumbua. Haijafika point we are doing it, but he want to touch you. If I tell him I need a book or I need something, he will tell me chanikushike kidogo, then takubaya. And then I used to think my mom is a hairdresser, so she used to go to work and achelewa. During the holiday season, we have to stay at home. My dad would wait, my mom anatoka, he comes back home. Because I'm alone, my siblings are wako. Ananisumbua the whole room, atanikimbiza everywhere. Then so when I was now during Form 1, during the holidays, he comes, tells me ataniguza kidogo. Then he kisses me, he buys the book. So if I refuse, he would send me away from home. He would throw me out. So he created an enmity between me and my mom. Me and my mom never got along during that time because he used to use it. I think alikuwa anaifanya kama defense mechanism so that my mom won't realize what is happening. So ananipigia kelele. He tries to show my mom how a bad kid I am. I don't listen to what he tells me to do. So akinirusha nje, my mom haizi fanya anything. Yeah, because she doesn't know what is happening. But you see, as a kid, I was like, my mom goes to work intentionally, and yet I know to be boy because that is my real dad. Yeah. So when it went on for like my whole life at home. It went on, so it reached when I was in Form 4. That's when it became serious. Now he said, nataka kujua if you're a virgin. Excuse me. Yes. Now I was wondering, Form 4, how does your dad find out if you're a virgin? Then he said, I'll take you to a place, a restaurant where I will go and test you. Nikasema hapana, I can't do that. I can't go and get tested by my dad. I'm a big girl, I am aware of how these things happen. Yes, I had not done it, but I was protecting my interest. And then he used to tell me that ukiambia mama yako, the whole family will get apart. And I didn't want my kids, my sister, my siblings to blame me for things like for breaking the family apart. I was like, ikimaliza to high school living, I'm gone. Let me just hold on to this and to this suffering, this pain, because unarushwa nje, your mom can't do anything. Sometimes my mom could try to defend me, and apigwa. My dad was an alcoholic. He's still alive, so I don't want to use words. He's an alcoholic. So my mom and I chapua, and me and my mom didn't get along that time because I started rebelling. I started becoming a bad kid. So my mom couldn't understand what is happening. But you know me, I'm rebelling because I'm saying I'm punishing them for what whatever they are doing to me. Because my mom I understand. I want to understand that these things are happening. I see like she's doing it intentionally to me. So, okay, I'm shaking.
It's okay. We are doing it, even scared.
Yeah. So, when I was done with high school, I told my mom, I wrote a letter. I told her what was happening.
You were in a day school?
Yes, I was in a day school. I went to boarding until Form 3. Now, Form 3, I started rebelling. I became a bad kid. I became a bad kid in Kafuzo Shule, strike and stuff. Yeah, so in Form 4, I was in day school. That's when my dad was getting the chance now to play with me seriously. He was doing everything that a person does to a wife. Everything. And it was tormenting me. It was too much. It was painful. Now, after writing the letter to my mom, she told me, ati, labda ni zile nguo unavaa.
Pardon me?
Yes, that's what she said.
You told her everything that was happening?
Yes, I told her. For those years I've been going through this and this and this. That's what she said. Labda ni zile nguo unavaa. Because now, nimeacha kuvaa zile nguo. Now, nachanuka. You know, I was raised in a family that hatukuwa na, what do I call it? You don't interact with outside people. And then you see, these things that I was going through affected me that I couldn't go to people. I couldn't talk to anyone. I didn't have anyone to share with. So I was just alone. I was just in my own circle. So going to day school, ikaniletea, I was, now nikachanuka. Now I know everything. I know things. Now I've stopped wearing those nguo zenye walikuwa wamenivaia. Now I have a boyfriend somewhere. And I wear some different clothes. So my mom was telling me, hizo nguo zenye unavaa ndio zinafanya baba yako anakuwa hivyo.
Let me ask you. I mean, because I can imagine it must have been a very confusing setup for you because uko home. At the beginning, uko naelewa kenye kina happen. Because if you were in class 6, you were like 12. So uko na idea, lakini it's not fully clear what boundaries are and, you know, when you're supposed to say no, what you're supposed to allow and what you're not supposed to allow. But the first instance must have been so confusing for you, Juni, babako, hata hiyo kukuguza, like, si ulichanganikiwa?
Yes, it was so confusing because like is this supposed to happen? But unasoma reproduction, you see this. Amekwambia what you have is mine. What you have, whatever it is you have, your whole body, mimi nimekugawia.
Oh my God, it's insane. And then sasa haukuwa na mtu unaweza ambia when you first born. So ni kama wewe ndio watoto wengine pia wanaangalia. So you had, and there are so many expectations you have on firstborn children. So there's a way you're supposed to carry yourself. There's a way you're supposed to, you know, to communicate, to have yourself in order. You just know vile tunaangalianga firstborn. It's the responsibility aspect. So in as much as at some point you felt this was not supposed to happen, there is no way you could open up. And I can imagine the kind of shame you carried as a result of this. You're fighting a battle that you cannot even win. You are somewhere where nobody even has airtime to understand what is really happening. I'm listening to you talking about your rebellion at school. For me, which is a cry for help. Like, okay, we know teenagers rebel. It's a normal developmental process. But kuna ingine unaonanga hapa, mtoto kuna kitu anatry kuniambia. And your mother was not keen to understand why you were behaving the way you were behaving.
Yes.
And all these things you did, hata umeniambia ulikuwa nafanya ndio wapanish.
Yes.
But ni kama hawapanishiki.
Now I end up hurting myself. Because I would go, nimetoka class, I'm in this school, high school. Nimetoka class. Instead of going back home, I just decide, let me chill with my friends. come back at 10. Nikirudi 10, nitarushwa nje. Nitaambiwa rudi kwenye umetoka. Ama usikie. Na naambiwa usikuje na uchafu ya wanaume kwa nyumba yangu, just go.
And the irony is, mwenye anakuchafua ako hapo.
Exactly. I was innocent. I had not done it. I was innocent. I was just rebelling. I wanted to punish them. I wanted them to feel what I was going through. But it wasn't working. I was hurting myself because nikirushwa nje, nilikuwa rushwa nje na kaa hapo nje kwa mlango because I don't have anywhere to go. I just stay there. Nikae hapo nje. Ifike asubuhi, if they decide to open, it's okay. If they don't decide to open, it's okay.
You don't know you did not deserve to go through any of this.
The funny thing is that they even made it now. My sister used to see what was happening.
Oh my God.
She's my younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
She used to see what was happening, but she was the favorite girl. Daddy's girl. So she was pampered. So angesema anything that was happening. She opened up later after I'd opened up. She could also, my dad created it in a way that now my siblings don't respect me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see me as anything.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell my sister, asimama ameenda na dansi, uniruhusu tu niingie niombe nyama. I just want something to eat. I've not eaten. She couldn't open.
She put a wedge between you and your siblings.
Yes, they just saw me as nothing.
You did not deserve to go through any of this. You were just a child. Ulijipata tu kwa mikono ya watu. You know, sometimes they say having a child doesn't make you a parent.
That's true.
You can be a mother, you can be a father, but just because you have that child doesn't make you a parent. Because being a parent means showing up for that child. It means listening to your child, verbally and non-verbally. It means looking at our children's behavior and understanding why they are behaving the way they do, because behavior is communication. And I'm looking at you and I'm wondering, how did you survive? Because even if at the beginning you were quite naive, you didn't understand what was happening, at some point it clicked and you knew this was not supposed to happen.
How I survived. How I avoided my dad for all those years. I could just run away. I ran away from home. I go, I sleep at a friend's place, and then I come back the next day. Nichapwe, and then siku zinasonga. That's how I survived. It never really happened, but the fact that he was doing touching, and then sometimes anakuambia nakupima, doing, I don't know, can I use the word? And I insert the way doctors wanapima cervix, okay,
hiyo ukiangalia dilation.
Yes, that's how he used to do it. He's testing if I'm a virgin.
That is disturbing on so many levels. Your mom.
My mom. So now my mom, I remember saying, I told her, and she said it's the clothes I wear.
That was the first time you told her?
That was the first time I told her. And she didn't say it in a good way, because I didn't tell her verbally. I wrote a letter, but now she told me verbally. Nizile nguo unavanga. So there's a time I ran away from home. When I came back, my dad akanita kwa kitchen, and he's like, "Why did you not behave hivyo?" And then akaniguza matiti when my mom was just getting out of the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom saw it herself. That's when she believed that was happening to me.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell me, even with the descriptive letter you wrote, She thought you were making things up.
She didn't believe me.
She didn't believe you.
Until that day, she caught my dad doing it. That's when she believed me.
How did you feel reaching out to your mom with such information, and that is a cry for you to see that the environment is not safe for you, and her not believing you? How did it feel for you?
It broke. And you see, all this while I was craving for a mother. I was craving for a father. I was craving to have parents. I didn't feel like I had parents. It felt like an adopted. There's even a time I told her, Mom, see, you just show me my real dad or my real mom. I need a family. So I wanted to mend the relationship because she had had enough, because I'm running away and I need a footer. I see she needs me, but she's not showing it. So me telling her, I wanted her to understand why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving. So her not listening to me and believing me, it broke me. It broke me because I wanted that mother. I wanted to mend the relationship so that my dad and Baki Kando, because the end of the cause of all this. So I was like, Achawi Baki Kando. I want to mend this with my mom. So I'll tell her what is happening so that she doesn't continue asking questions and seeing like I'm a bad child, because I'm not a bad child. It's just what I'm going through that is making me behave the way I am behaving.
Yeah. No, I like what you said. You are not a bad child. Actually, there's nothing like a bad child. We just have children who behave in certain ways, and we need to be able to understand why they're behaving in a certain way. So she's found your dad, touching your breasts.
Yes. And she asked him, and then they argue, they get into an argument. They stayed for quite some time. They ran away to Narok. After high school, they said the next day, I packed everything that I had and moved out to just somewhere I don't know anyone. A friend just told me, Kuja Narok, there is Kuna Kazi. Yeah, so we ran away from home. After, I think he separated after a year. Yeah, after a year.
A year after your mom discovered?
Yes, a year after my mom discovered. And you see, the fact that they were still together even after.
Yeah.
Amemshika. I still didn't understand. I wanted her to leave. I wanted waachane. She get sense kwa nini wako pamoja na this person is trying to screw your biological daughter. This is your daughter. So I wanted them to separate. So that still I wanted me and my mom to end a relationship. I'm still craving for that mother, but when I left for Narok, I switched off everything. I cut them off. I went and stayed alone and became a kachokora somewhere in Narok. So they separated after that 1 year and still got back together. So that time they separated, it was around 2 years. Like they took a 2-year break. When they came back together, I came back home. Now I'm back home, still craving for parents. I still need my dad to like me. Because he's still my dad. I can't change anything about it. He's my dad. So I came back home, nikamwambia nimerudi, and now I want to go to college. I want to start studying for something. But since I got my son out of huko kwenye nilienda, he refused kunipeleka shule. He said, I can't take you to school. So my mom still didn't understand the fact that akiniacha na this person in the house, he will still do the same thing. Alikuwa ananiambia akikuguza uniambie. Akikuguza utaniambia. Then I'm like, nikikwambia utafanya. And back home, still my dad didn't mend the relationship. He still tried to sleep with me.
When you came back?
Yes, when I came back. So we had a heart-to-heart talk with my mom. I was asking her why she came back to my dad. Akasema it's because of my siblings. Then it's okay. So what hurt me the most is that she still thinks that her pain is more than mine. I was trying to tell her, Mom, what I went through is trauma. It's affecting me. I can't even have a stable relationship. Because once I just find a guy, we can't date for more than a year. We can't. I just can't. It's affecting everything. It's affecting my life. It's affecting my relationship with my son. It's affecting everything. And God akanipatia kijana. I always try to raise that son as a better version. I don't want him to be like my dad. I don't want him to be like his dad. I want him to be different. Because they always say that every woman looks for, if your dad is bad, you look for something completely opposite to your dad.
Or something similar.
Yeah. So I always look for something completely opposite. Any trait I find in a man that links to my dad, I need to cut off. So this relationship whatever I went through is affecting my life, is affecting my relationship. It affected my choices because singeenda college, nimetoroka home, nimeenda kuanza job somewhere. Uko Narok, I don't know anyone. A friend told me ameniita na hata na accommodation. So any straight girl.
I'm going to ask you a very deep question.
It's okay.
Do you feel like your mom let you down?
Yes, she did. I feel like she did because she doesn't feel my pain. She still feels like me and my dad are the, she says when I'm back home Tessa.
Guy.
She still doesn't feel that pain. She let me down big time.
Clearly she doesn't feel your pain even for a minute. What do you mean when
I'm back home Tessa, that's what she said. Because I was a rebellious child. And now my dad, zile makasiriko zangu of not giving him what he wants, alikuwa anatolea my mom. So atamtusi, atamwambia wewe mtoto wako ni. And then now she's also feeling like my dad was wanted to cheat with my daughter.
Do you know how awkward that sounds? I mean, for an adult to even plant this kind of seed in your head, where will kill mtoto wake? That's completely abnormal. There's something not right.
I tried to mend the relationship with my dad for some time.
You did?
I did.
Wow.
I did. I'm that kind of person that I don't carry anything in my heart. So I tried for some time. I started working. I didn't have a problem with it. Because remember, I still want my dad. I still want to see the dad in him, like my siblings from Epitia. I just want to put everything in the past and move on. So my dad akaniambia, I want you to go and uone shamba. So I called my mom, so excited. Mom, dad ameniambia niende nione shamba. I've never been there, so nitaenda next week Monday. Just guess what my mom tells me. Wewe sasa ndio utani replace. I think mmewahi fanya kitu na baba yako. I don't believe you. Sikuamini. Wewe sasa ndio bibi. Akuandike next of kin. I'm like, what? I'm the firstborn. I'm supposed to take care of these things. If I don't know where these things are, I have two small brothers. How will I show them where this is? And that is what my dad wanted. He wanted me to know where They bought the land, see how we shall go,
Yeah.
please. Now my mom was telling me that the praise I'm telling the story and I'm not crying. And God remember handkerchief. I cried. I'm like, how could my mom think of something like that? How could she think that I want to replace her as a wife? If she wants the relationship, she can go back. I'm not telling her not to, because I also don't want to be a reason why the family broke. I never wanted to be a reason. That's why I wanted to normalize high school and I move out and I start living my life somewhere else, because I didn't feel like part of that family. Yeah, so that hurt me. My mom let me down. And the funny thing is that until now she still doesn't feel like she's responsible.
Seriously?
Yeah, till date.
You know, there's something about children who've been exposed to sexual violence, and this is something I have heard from a number. They say that when it happened under the parents' noses, most of the time they felt like their mothers knew something was wrong, but they didn't do anything about it. Did you at some point feel your mom knew what something was happening, but she was not?
Yes, she didn't want to follow up. Like, how would you be comfortable? Like, you have a kid and kuzwa nje analala nje. Now you comfortably sleep. You comfortably sleep. It's like you're supporting what is happening. Unaenda job, unaacha mwanaume na msichana. You know your husband. Because my dad had been flirting with women around. So you know what kind of your husband it is. If she could have talked to me, okay, if she was friendly also to me. I was that child who siwezi enda takuomba mamangu chapati jikoni mimi. Akipika nitatuma sister yangu ende amuombe, because
Your golden child, huyo.
Golden child, nitume sister yangu ende aombe chapo, yakikuja anikatie. So that kind of I wasn't free. I didn't feel at home at any point. I didn't feel like their child at any point.
What kind of treatment were these people giving you? Because you've said a number of times you didn't feel like you belonged. Kwani walikuwa nakutreat aje?
Like an outsider, like an adopted kid. Like, unajua ile mtoto anaogopa kwenda kuambia mzazi kitu. You lack, but you can't even approach your parent to tell them I want this. First, if I tell my dad ataniambia aniguze kwanza. If I tell my mom nenda uitishe baba yako, so what do I do? If I tell my mom unaharibu vitu, things, but wale wengine the golden child ataambiwa yeye achukue tu duka watalipa. I was scared. My mom chapa, like, I don't know, I think she was also frustrated because my dad wasn't even a good husband. So hizo frustrations zake zilikuwa zote zinaenda kwangu. I don't know why me, but she was frustrated, I think.
That is not a bloody excuse not to show up for your child. It's not an excuse. She's responsible for her marriage, not you. And the kind of burden she imposed on you is not fair at all. Wewe ulijipata kwa your family, sindio? They created you. They were supposed to nurture you. They were supposed to make you feel safe. They were supposed to provide for you. They were supposed to love you. These are non-negotiables. So the fact that she was unhappy with her husband has got nothing to do with you. Hiyo ni yake na mzee wake. And the fact that up to date, she does not acknowledge that she had a role to play in this makes me so mad. Because it reminds me of so many parents out here who wanaona vitu zina happen alafu wanajifanya waoni, and they don't know the kind of damage they are causing to their children. It's bad. It's really bad. And even as you share your story, I'm wondering if your mom was here. Like, free space, unaweza mwambia nini?
If she was here, what would I tell her? What would I tell her? Kai, I would tell her, I wish she was a mom to me the way she was to my sister. I wish she was a mom to me during those times, because if she was that mom I needed, I wouldn't have held on to this pain, I would have shared with her because it was a comfortable environment to share. But it wasn't. Yeah. Just she was our mom.
And you carried this with you. You've carried this with you all along. The shame, the stigma, you've had to deal with it all by yourself.
All by myself.
That's tough.
Because you try to explain to someone when maybe you're trying to get into a relationship, you try to share. Nobody will. Okay, they act like they understand, but nobody understands what you're going through. Nobody understands the pain. Because it's too much. It's too much. It's too painful for me.
It is. And it's okay for you to acknowledge that it sucks to have this weight on your shoulder. It sucks to have this kind of ruminating thoughts in your mind. It sucks to know that you've got no backup at home. It sucks that you don't have the support that you so much need. It sucks. It's I don't know. Nobody, absolutely nobody deserves to go through anything like this. You did not deserve to go through this. Your mother has no right to impose the responsibility of her marriage on you. Your mother did not play her role as a parent to be there for you. Your father is a certified asshole. You utatoa. But your dad is a certified asshole. And I don't even understand the rationale behind you trying to mend ways with him. In as much as you wanted a father figure, he needs to earn it. It's not because alipeana mbegu that makes him a dad.
I think I was desperate.
But he's never behaved like a father. He's never behaved like a nurturer. He's never behaved like a caregiver. Actually, in black and white, he's behaved like some illiterate buffoon somewhere. So you reaching out, I know it was in good faith because you still want that family set up and you want to have a father figure, but you also need to let go of that ideal image that you have in your mind and acknowledge that he messed you up. He really did mess you up. And this has affected you in so many ways. And honestly, he doesn't even deserve to be called a father. Because a father would not do that to his child. He doesn't deserve that. Your mother, on the other hand, I think I have so much for her, but she didn't do you right. She could do better. It's not your fault that her marriage is not working. It's not your fault that her husband was flirting around. That is her business to take care of, or was her business to take care of. Your father had no right to look at you and sexually objectify you because of, God forbid, how you dress. So, mtoto atavaa vile anataka juu mtu ako hapa ataniangalia.
And the way you see in movies, people sitting on their dads comfortably.
Yeah.
Also, my cousins, I used to see my cousins sitting on their dad's lap and mending, and then I was like, this is something good. It must feel good. Because utasikia wakisema ati your uncle did this and this to me.
How is your relationship with you and your mom now?
We are okay. We are okay. We are good friends. Yeah, we are okay. I just chose not to talk about it because I figured out she will never understand how I feel. Since she sees her pain is greater than mine. So sweep it under the carpet. Move on.
Yeah, but you know this is not over then. If you guys have not addressed it and you guys are just mnajifanya mko sawa.
You see, every time we try to address it, tutakosana. We've tried. We talk. Sometimes anasemanga anaweza kuja quote some maneno anasema wewe utanilipa ile mateso nilipitia. Namwambia mama wewe huwezi understand. I will just tutakosana vibaya sana. We'll end up not even talking to each other for a week.
how are you able to relate with her? Like,
I think I have a big heart. I have a big heart. Because if I was to carry everything, every pain that they caused me, I wouldn't talk to anyone, even my sister. Because she treated me like trash. She was aware, but I don't knock home. Let me just take a shower and find something to eat and I'm less busy. Mama tanichap, dada tanichap. I wouldn't talk to anyone.
Because even as you speak to me, there's a part that I need to mention and emphasize on, because at some point, you may not get the sorry that you need from her, because I think that would really help in your healing journey. If she acknowledged that she screwed up, if she acknowledged that she was not there for you, if she acknowledged that she was not the mother she was supposed to be, it would make a difference in your healing journey. But from what you're saying, it may never come. Are you at peace with that you may never get the apology that you so much deserve?
I don't think I'm at peace with that, because even coming here, I took it as a healing process. Because once I speak it out to someone, I speak it out to people I'm used to. Once it becomes too much on me, I call a friend, we talk. That's it. But speaking it to, like, it's going to be posted on internet, I'm like, hey, this is saying it like to the whole world. It's a healing process to me. So I'm not at peace with that, because I need to heal.
Yes.
I need to heal. And I'm not even halfway done. I'm not even halfway close to healing. I just swallow the pain every time it comes. Because if something happens that reminds you of it, I swallow it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm at peace with it.
And I can imagine you've got so many triggers around, and just reminds you of where you've come from. Your dad, what's your relationship like?
He's we talk once in a while. You see, he's one. Okay, yes, he's an asshole, because he's irresponsible to start with. I'm the one taking care of my. Now the last one, he refused. He said, "Kama tumewachana familia, so he doesn't want anything to do with us." So tusomeshe huyo mtoto. He played. He said he always used that word. I played my part.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he played my part. So yeah, the rest is ours to play. Yeah, so we don't talk. We don't talk at all. And so zingine akikunywa, he will call me and tell me, once whatever happened, just know that you're still my daughter. And that's the kind of relationship we have. We don't talk. When he calls, he tries to remind me how much of a daughter I am to him.
It makes me feel sick. But I do admire your courage talking about this. It's not easy. Matters of abuse, especially sexual abuse, are matters that we want to hide, because there's a lot of shame around. There's a taboo around matters, abuse generally. So you can imagine sexual abuse, how it is, especially when it happens in households where other people are supposed to be responsible for you, and nobody gave a rat's ass about what was happening. But I can promise you this. The fact that you're talking about it here, it's a step in healing. Hata kama ni 0.01%, it makes a difference. And the more you talk about it, have you been for therapy?
No.
No?
Not.
How come?
I think I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared to talk about it. I'm scared. You see that I'm hiding my face because I don't want people to judge me first. I don't want people to judge my dad. I don't want people to look for Irma who wants to put after. On your internet right now, you can find someone easily. So I don't want people to also locate my parents and so much. But I was thinking of starting therapy. I need it.
you look at starting therapy, you need to shed off all these things about what people think and what people will say and what people will do, because that is not in your control, really. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but you need to choose your battles and just focus on what you can control. And these are aspects of you. Your feelings, your thoughts, your behavior, your perspective, your choices. That is what you can focus on. That is within your control. Anything else outside of that scope, there's nothing you can do. So you also need to shed off that, even as you try to understand, how best you can find your healing. When you're ready, I'm a therapist also. You can look for me, and we can just make an arrangement. Yeah, and I can help you facilitate, the healing that you so much need, because you need to explore this in detail. Yeah, and there's so much work that you need to do in therapy. You have no idea. Yeah. Okay. But when you're ready, either it could be me, or I could also get you someone else if you feel like you would need, a different person.
I think I'll be comfortable with you.
All right. You told us you have a son.
Yes.
How old is your son?
7.
Oh, you live with him?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. But I don't live with a dad. Because our relationship was unstable. Mm-hmm. Now, whatever I went through affected my marriage. I stayed with him for 4 years. But, you see, once I have sex with someone, he disgusts me. I can't stand him. So this guy thought that I was cheating. Because I couldn't do it like the normal couple do it. I was different. I'm cold. I'm not like the normal. Yeah, so that affected the relationship. So we had to part ways. It's just me and my son. I also have an adopted daughter.
You adopted a girl?
Yes.
Nice. How old is she?
I took her in when she was in class 7. I know she's done with high school.
Look at you. Wow. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Even with all this baggage that you're carrying, you're still making a difference in this life.
Okay, God willing, I always have that feeling like I will get adopted kids. I will open an orphanage and I will do something different, because you see, I used to feel like an adopted kid, but me, I want to make these adopted kids feel like they have a family. I don't want them to feel they are feeling. I had my own real family, but I was an outsider in my own family. So if you see my daughter, she'll tell you she's comfortable. She's at home. I don't treat her any different from my son. Yeah.
I pray that God gives you a desire of your heart, and you open that home and you accommodate as many children as you can, and have as much resources as you need to make these children feel like they belong. Because every child deserves that. Yeah. What would you like to say to a child who's watching you, who might be going through something similar like you went through?
I would tell her, what I regret about my story is making the wrong choices, because I've not gone into details, but there's somewhere I went wrong. There are choices I made wrong. I rebelled thinking that I was hurting them, yet I was hurting me. So just don't do any choice. Don't make any choices because of the pain you're going through. Try and make a positive impact, because right now is when I'm trying to get my life back together because of those choices I made. I didn't go to college. I can't get a job with title, maybe let's say a lawyer or anything. I have to go look for casual work, which is not right. So don't make any decision out of pain. Just think twice. Think twice about any choice you make.
But can I respond to that? in that position where you're going through such a traumatic experience and you've got no one to share with, you're bound to to engage in erratic behaviors. You're bound to make poor decisions. And it's not that you're doing it because you're in such a good place. You're doing it because you are pained, because you are angered, because you're crying for help. So I want you to cut yourself some slack. I know it may not make sense right now, but with whatever you are carrying, you behaved the best way possible for you to numb the pain that you had. You had to go through it. You had to go through these experiences to make you feel a bit sane, to make you feel at least you're worthwhile, because I can imagine the number of things that you told yourself about your value, about your esteem. This has really affected you. So cut yourself some slack. You may not have made smart decisions, but under the circumstances that was the best you could do. Now that you're reclaiming your life and doing things different, you'll be able to make different choices. Thank you so much for sharing your story. How are you feeling?
Relieved. Really. I feel good.
That was very bold of you. It's the first step to healing. You talk about it, and then next time you want to talk about it somewhere, and then the next time you want to show your face, and the next time you're writing a Facebook post or an Instagram post. That's how it starts. And please, usiignore story ya therapy. Itakusaidia. I'm talking from experience. Itakusaidia tena sana. Alright guys, thank you so much for keeping us company. Parents, caregivers, wacheni niwaambie, there is no excuse for not showing up for your child. It doesn't matter the kind of marriage setup you're in. Your children should not pay the price for your shitty marriage. You should not make your children go through stuff and then pretend that everything is okay, because Mungu amekutrust na hawa watoto. It is your duty to love, to protect, to provide, and to give them safety. You're not doing them a favor. They deserve this. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. Guys, leo nimekas.